Hey, Envy. Hey, Resin Mascara Mary. Hey, Sadie's. How are you? Hey, Custom. Why are you guys not sleeping? It is 11 o'clock at night. Did you guys miss me? I've been very absent for the last few days. I didn't really tell anybody, but I got to. My best friend has. It's only 10 here. I got you. My best friend works for an airline, and I get free passes to go occasionally just fly out. And I went to help my uncle with some things and visit with some family members and attend my stepsister's party in Denver, Colorado. So I've actually been gone for the last couple of days. I left early Friday morning and I just got back just a little while ago. And so I really took, I tried to take a deep break from whatnot, but it didn't work. I got tagged in a million shows. That's okay. That is perfectly fine. Thank you. It's good to be home. I am exhausted from the travel though. I don't sleep well anyway. So sleeping away from home is always hard. Do you guys like my bow? Can I tell you where I got this bow? This is a Rosie bow, and it was made by Crafty Bliss's daughter, Rosie. So this is cute. This is the Hello Darkness Ray Train, and we talk about all things that are well, you can sell things that are dark and creepy, which a lot of us love. It is super cute, right? I put it on. I'm like, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Um, so there's my party of 11. Bunny's Treasures. I always love watching your shows. It's really hard to not see you as a dressed as a taco or wearing a mustache though. And like when you're not on screen, like I so visually see you in your taco with a mustache on. So anyways, thank you everybody who has ridden this train today, and a giant thank you most of all to Sexy Moose, who occasionally likes to give us all a heart attack by oversleeping and not being in the opening for 10 minutes, and then we all panic. But let that show as a testament to everybody who loves you, Sexy, how hard everybody tried to get a hold of you to make sure that you're okay. And that is really what is great. You did. You did. Everybody's like, does anybody have her number? And I'm like, I'll text her. But I actually knew in my heart of hearts you were asleep. So I was like, okay, she's just asleep. She'll be on in a minute. But yeah, freaked everybody out because she never misses her openings. So, guys, this train is really kind of like about that. It's about community, and it is about somebody should. Yeah, somebody should. Envy's in the chat. He has a paddle. He bought a paddle for me, so maybe Envy's the one. I don't know. If I have to put my money up against Sexy or Envy, I mean, I have a feeling that Sexy would paddle the crap out of Envy. So guys, this is the Hello Darkness Raid Train, and we talk about all things that are suicide prevention and mental health awareness. But also, there was a lot of people today who sold really cool things that fit the vibe of everything that we like. Dark and creepy stuff, coffins, tombstones, headstones, skulls. So that is one of my vibes. That's what brought me to this raid train. But then I wound up finding something very different. And it was, for me, it was a place to share some of the things that I have been through that have been really traumatic. And I've always felt, I'm not going to shove my religion down your throat, but I am a Christian. And I've always felt that God trusted me with a lot of things. And there were a lot of things that I wish he wouldn't have trusted me with, because I've had a lot of things happen that were very, very hard. But I think that these things were given to me so that I could help other people. I am by no means any sort of physician. You'd love to spank Moosey, but she didn't. Boston. Red, what are we going to do with you? So I am not by any means an expert. I'm just giving you a viewpoint of things that I've been through, to try and help other people to deal with some of the heartache and traumas that come with not only having a mental illness, but being a part of. I know. I've been absent for 3 days. I've actually been in Colorado. I didn't tell anyone. I just jumped on a plane and I went to Colorado. My best friend is a stewardess, and I am her plus one, so I can fly anywhere that I want to. And I needed a reboot, and so I met up with some family in Colorado and got to hang out with some of my cousins who look incidentally just like me. I never realized how much they look like me until I got side by side with them again as adults. So it was kind of a really nice weekend. And I also just want to say, um, just like Sexy Moose, she didn't, she didn't show up for a couple of minutes, and everybody scrambled to find her and take care of her. And I had a really rough week this week, and I just want to say that there are so many people who reached out to me, who helped me, and did something in a big, big way. And you know who you are, and I just want to say thank you so much, because it put a big relief in my life and is going to help me to just move forward in this week without all of the stresses of last week. So, you all know who you are, and I want to say thank you very much for that. We are family, and you guys are definitely family. And I hope you know that if I'm ever able to reciprocate, I am definitely there. So, what we're talking about tonight is actually community. I love you guys too so much. Armadillo girl, hello, hello. um, I don't sell anything, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I usually do a ton of giveaways, but I honestly can't even afford that right now. I look rejuvenated. Thank you. It's good makeup and good lighting. Actually, I was like, "Oh, I better put some concealer on these eyes. I look like I've been beaten." But it's because I slept on the plane. And you know how when you sleep on a plane, you just feel yucky afterwards, right? Um, but I just wanted to say, that community is super important when you're talking about mental health and you're talking about, um, not only your own mental health, but the mental health of your friends. And so what I'm talking about tonight, and guys, I'm the caboose of this train, because Sexy is amazing, and she has. You're gonna eat a piece of chicken. I got you, guys. Do not let her get grease on the screen, okay? Yeah, definitely better than last week. I was getting really tired. I really did need a mental break, from whatnot. And that is so important to admit, guys. It is important to admit that you need some downtime. Okay. And then just take it. And I am going to be very unapologetic about that. I knew that in my heart that I needed to take a step back and realize that I just needed, um, whatnot, social media, all of them can be so incredibly stressful and very hard on your mental health. And if you don't recognize that and you aren't aware of that, then, it can spiral really fast. It can spiral so fast on how hard that can be on your mind. And when it's hard on your mind, it's hard on your body and it's hard on your soul. Absolutely, you have to take care of yourself. So, this is what I was doing last week. But at the end of that, at the end of this so terrible, stressful, crazy, amazing week, whatnot came through for me, and that just goes to show how important it is. Yes, disaster shows are awful too. It tells you how important it is that what we're talking about today is for our community. Raise your hand in the chat if you've ever had a friend who has told you that they are feeling some way like not being here anymore. Raise your hand in the chat. I'm always going to rub my nose because I have allergies like crazy. How many of you have ever had a friend tell you that they just don't want to be here anymore, or they don't know why they're living, or they don't know, um, maybe not come right out and say, I feel like I'm going to take my own life, but somebody that has told you directly, I I am feeling very off and I don't know if I want to be here ever again. Well, what we're talking about tonight is directly from the National Institute of Mental Health. These are the 5 steps to take in how to deal with that situation. I thought this one was very important because stress is a lot, and if that works for you, then, I've never partaken in it, so I don't understand it myself, but I have seen how it does work for people who need to calm down in that moment. So I'm no judgment here, none at all. In fact, there was a presidential declaration yesterday that deemed it a less serious. And I mean, it was up there with the worst of the worst. Like, it was up there with heroin. It was up there with heroin. It is now down with Tylenol with codeine and stuff like that. So it has been made a lesser severe drug. And it's natural. It's grown on the earth. So I mean, it's I don't know. I have opinions on it both ways. But I will say that there are 7 verifiable illnesses that it does work for. And if you can get something naturally from the earth instead of something synthetically made and it works for your illness, I'm going to go for the naturally made, honestly. All right. But we're going to talk about those steps that when you have a friend or a loved one tell you that they are suicidal. I will tell you that I am sitting here. I don't know how many of you guys know this. I'm going to admit this to you now. My husband, Kaylin's dad, KK's dad, he said it several times that he was just going to end it one day and he was just going to take his life. And um, 17 years ago, that's what happened. Although there's many, there's always those incidences which will tell you that um, maybe that's not what happened, and I'll never know until I, get where I get and I get to tell and ask those questions, or maybe I'll get where I'm at and I won't need those answers anymore. But I can tell you that the police said that 100% that it was death by suicide. I don't know if I believe that or not, but I have done a lot of research and a lot of work on myself. I can tell you that the first year after that, I was a total and complete and utter mess. And it took me a good probably 10 years to be able to even talk about it without getting short of breath and losing my ever loving mind. He was one of the greatest loves of my life. He gave me my greatest treasure, my daughter. He was funny, witty, friendly. Um, he was a mess, but he was my mess. And his loss was greatly felt by not only me, but my entire family. So when I hear somebody say that, I take it very seriously because we did seek mental health for him, and he was on medications, but he just couldn't stay on them. So that was something that had been addressed, and it wasn't anything that was ever ignored. But it was also not anything he had said in a while. Like, he was actually doing really well, like a year or more. He was just happy go lucky, and it was completely out of the blue. If that's what happened, it was completely out of the blue. So, but what I can say is that I would do anything in the world now if somebody were to tell me that they were in mental health trouble or stress, that I would be there for them. And these are the steps that the National Institute for Mental Health says that we should take. So, first of all, if somebody tells you they're struggling mentally in any way, shape, or form, they could say something as simple as, I can't handle this anymore. I can't do this. I just don't want to do this anymore. That is a cry for help. And in that moment, somebody they're reaching out to somebody that they trust. So if that's that person and they're standing there or sitting there in front of you or they're on the phone with you, they have trusted you with a very precious part of their mind and soul, and it should be taken seriously. If in any Yes, yes. If in any way, shape, or form you can stop everything that you're doing, aw, I know, I love you, and I do try my best to keep up with everyone. But in that moment, take the time to stop, zone out everything else around you, and focus in on that person. And if you can't at that moment, say, when can I talk to you? Can you give me however much time you need and say, I really want to talk to you about this. But if you have that feeling that you shouldn't let them go, don't let them go. Okay. But give them your total focused attention, because that is them trusting you with something that is deep in their heart and on their mind and a potential red flag. Okay. So they've given you this trust, and now what do you do with it? It is a heavy burden. It is a heavy, heavy burden to think that someone that you love could not be there in a 10-minute time span, a 5-minute time span. A mental illness is an untreated health condition. Even if it's treated and they're still having these thoughts and these feelings, it is not treated correctly. It is still a medical condition and it should be taken seriously. And we don't need to say to our friends, oh, you're just trying to get attention. Oh, you're just trying to get attention. That person, although some people can use that as a tactic to get attention, it's still a great cry for help. Either way, it is a great cry for help. So take them seriously because you don't really know what is in their mind in that moment, and you don't really know how serious they are about what's going on with them. Welcome in, welcome in. So the first thing you need to do, that's right, that's right. What a way to seek attention, right? That's not a healthy way to get it. So that tells you right there that there's an issue in that person's soul that needs to be addressed, and they've trusted you with that. Hey, Crafty. All right. So the first thing that you do is you ask them, are you thinking about suicide? Not an easy question to ask. I understand that, but it can help to start that conversation. Oh, okay, so studies show that asking people if they are suicidal does not increase suicidal behavior or thoughts. So if you ask them straight up to say, are you feeling like you could take your own life, or are you feeling suicidal? Studies have shown that in itself does not give the person the idea of that or make the situation any more heavy than it already is. And you need to get to the bottom of where they are exactly at that point of time and say, if it's yes, you go here. If it's no, you go here. But if it's yes, there's a lot of steps that need to be taken, correct? Don't ever walk away from somebody who's saying, yes, I do feel this way. So then what do you do? What do you do? Be in that moment, be with that person, and stick with them until they get to definitive care. So listening without judgment is key. Um, Learning what a person is thinking and feeling. So research suggests that acknowledging and talking about suicide may actually reduce suicidal thoughts. When I tell you not to be judgmental, and when this is saying not to be judgmental, there are certain things that you should never say to somebody who is suicidal. Okay. One of those is, that's a great sin and you're going to hell. You have no right to put your judgment on them in that moment, and that can actually make things way worse. You would never say something along the lines of, oh, you would never have the courage to do that. Do not tempt them. These are things that happen, okay? These are things that happen, sadly, but truthfully, things that do happen. You They'll go right over the edge. Exactly. No sitting there in judgment. And this is also not a time to force your thoughts. Yeah, stay with your friend or loved one. You have to be there for them. Don't force your religious beliefs on that person in that moment. It is okay to gently ask them, are you this or are you that? Or how can I talk to you? What is your belief system so that I can gear my thoughts towards talking to you in that way? So if you know, like for instance, if you know that you're talking to a Christian and you're a Christian, ask them, may I pray with you? You have nothing to be depressed about. One of the worst things ever. You have everything in the world. What do you have to be depressed about? You have such a blessed life. Why are you shouldn't feel this way? That is the worst thing to do, to invalidate somebody's feelings. I totally agree with you. So, stop it. Yes, stop it. Just stop. Just stop feeling the way you feel. I'm sorry. You have no right to feel that way. These are all awful things to say in the moment when somebody's having a mental health crisis. But it is okay to say, how can I best help you? Um, it can be as simple as, if somebody is a Christian, say, can I pray for you? Maybe you share a religion. Maybe you have a Jewish faith that has a prayer that you can say with them, or maybe you're a Catholic and there's a prayer that you can pray with them that you know, but connecting with them on that level, that's a special place to be. but it is not your place to force whatever your thoughts are on them about religion. So please do be careful about that. You know what? If you are and you want to pray for that person, you can pray silently and you can do it endlessly. You don't have to stand there and force it down their throat, but you always can ask them, can I pray for you? And in what religion should I pray for you in? And if it's not something you're comfortable with, say, can I call somebody to help you through that? Maybe they're Wiccan and there's ways that Wicca can come in and help do ceremonies to relieve their stress or to lighten that mood or do a cleansing over them. And that's something that they prefer. Like, you don't know what it is unless you ask. But please don't stand in judgment over anybody who tells you anything about their thought processes in that moment. Just be supportive and not be judgmental. So just talking about it and talking about suicide, no, you need to know your people. You do. Sometimes you're just getting to know your people though, and sometimes those questions have to be asked. And you'll get a gauge right away. You'll get a gauge right away of where to go in that topic, in that situation. They may say, no, I don't need anything like that right now. Um, it is, yeah, yep. If that's if you are a Christian, it is a sin actually to judge somebody. So sitting in judgment of somebody else, you're not helping them in that moment or helping yourself. So just being there, listening to what they have to say, and not being judgy, and saying, don't try and fix their problem. Let them talk. Let them say what's going on, because you trying to fix their problem can invalidate them feeling the way they're feeling. So if they say, well, I just don't feel like my kids love me. You go in there and you saying, oh, your kids love you. They adore you. I know exactly. I know that they love you. That can't be possible that they don't love you. Well, you know what? You don't know their home situation, and kids can be the most judgmental and unconditional lovers on the face of this earth. I always say that it drives me crazy when people say, I just want a baby because it's unconditional love. No, they're the most conditional lovers ever. They love you when things are right, when they are fed, they when they have the clothes they want. They are very conditional lovers. They learn love along the way. It is not given automatically. So it is tough. And for you to sit there and say, "Oh, your kids love you," you can't honestly think that they don't love you. Yes, a puppy can love you unconditionally, but they also will not love you if you don't give them snacks and food. So just be careful in how you shouldn't be trying to fix their problem at this point. Another one would be, um, I just financially cannot handle this, and if I were to take my own life, then my family would have my life insurance money. You know, you by you saying, oh, let's fix your financial situation right now because this can be fixed. Money is just a thing. You don't need money. Money is not important. You know what? Money can be very important to somebody who doesn't have it, and to invalidate their very scary situation that they're in monetarily at that moment it's not the best thing to do. Let them talk. Let them tell you what they need to say. So if if they are if they're having money issues, then that's not something that you're going to be able to sit down and fix right away. But you can offer to help and say, is there anything that you think that I can do that can help you in this situation, without saying you're going to solve all their problems and everything is going to be okay? Because even if there's monetary situation is so deep and you give them money in that particular moment, the next day could be just as hard, and the day after that can be just as hard. So they need real help, and they need somebody who has real solutions to their problem, and you may not be that person in that moment. So trying to solve their problem is not necessarily the way to go, but getting them to the definitive help that they need is the mindset we should be in. So can anybody else think of another situation that somebody would tell you and they would ask, you would want to offer advice back on? Let's just talk about the one that was thrown out there. What do you have to be sad about? Again, we cannot control our own brains. Some of the most amazing people on this earth, the richest, the ones who have very blessed lifestyles that are extremely loved and adored, like Robin Williams, had deep mental issues that have that issue that cannot be solved with money or status or a roof over your head. It's deeper than that. It is a definite misfire of the brain that has to be medically treated. And so we can't sit in judgment of telling people that they don't have the right to feel the way they feel in that moment, because we are not in their brain. So, yeah, every day is hard waking up. It is. It really is. So the next thing is to help keep them safe. So reduce access to high lethal items. What if there's a gun in the home? Okay. I can tell you I've had to do this. I know my friends who are armed because I'm okay around firearms. I actually like firearms. I discuss those with my friends. And I know that some of my friends are armed, and if they have mental health issues, I'm in their home, I'm going to broach that question. Hey, MD, welcome in. I'm going to broach that question. Where is your firearm right now? If it's out and near you, around you, that is a very unsafe situation for you. Ask if you can secure it. Tell them if you don't secure it, you're going to walk away. Um, yes, there's a lot of things that can be done to really to solve that situation. I have had friends that have told me that they're not feeling right mentally, and I ask them, "Is it okay if I secure your weapon for you?" And you know what? They give me their weapons. I don't want them in my house, and sometimes those weapons are big and scary. But if I know that it's the potential to save a life or somebody else's life, then I will secure that weapon. Sharp objects in the kitchen, like look around where things are in the kitchen, because it's important for your own safety as well. If you are on a high ledge apartment building or something along those lines, you know, keep your back to the window and them facing you so that you can keep them from being near any ledges. This is a super important step, is doing your best to keep them safe. Now listen, it is not your job to be a superhero. It is not your job to be a superhero. Can you please say that to yourself out loud? I heard some of you say that. If you are ever in harm's way, get the hell out, because you do not need to put yourself in harm's way, high harm's way, or become part of the problem of the situation. You need to make sure that you are safe at all times, and if you are feeling unsafe, you need to get out of that situation. Okay, so but reducing access to highly lethal items or places can prevent suicide. Just the thought of loan of keeping them from situations where they could make that quick judgment decision is helpful. Okay. Asking the person if they have a plan is the next step. You are a superhero. We are superheroes in many ways. We can't actually block bullets or fly. So just keep that in mind when you're helping somebody else. Um, Asking the person if they have a plan is an important step in this. If they have a plan, um, and you know what that plan is, you can help to prevent the suicide by reversing that plan. So if it's, oh yeah, I'm going to jump off my balcony, then again, that's between you, get yourself between you, the balcony, and them. Close the window if you need to, sit them down. Um, Actually say, you know what, let's go get a cup of coffee. Remove them from the situation completely. If there are weapons in the house, say, you know what, can you meet me at McDonald's and let's sit down and have a drink. Um, let's let's go to the park and take a walk. If you know their plan and they tell you the plan, you can get them out of that situation, and that alone can help prevent that suicidal situation in that moment because they're disconnected from the plan. Yeah, yeah. Yes, they think about it for a very long time, a very long time. A lot of people who have suicidal tendencies and ideations, they struggle every day to live as much as we struggle every day to not die. So it is definitely important that you keep talking to your friends about their plan, and if they have one, to talk about it. I have not. I have not heard about that. So keeping the person safe when the suicidal thoughts arise. So number 4 is help them connect. Help them connect. Grinch and Sons cards, welcome in. Help them connect to a person. You can call the 988 suicidal crisis hotline, or you can text 988. And if they don't want to call, you can get 988 on the phone and say, I'm sitting here with my friend so and so, and they're having some suicidal thoughts and some ideations. And I'm wondering if you can talk us through what our next steps would be to get them help. Um, and if they are very, very resistant to that, say, is it okay if I call them and I talk to them, because I want you to be okay? I love you so much that I really want to take this step to see how I can help you. Take that responsibility and put it on yourself. And it's quite possible them hearing you say, yeah, 911 might be too late. Yes. That is awesome. Veteran to veteran is a really a big way to go with 22 is too many. And other veterans are the only ones that understand what veterans go through. So that was an amazing situation that they put you through to help you through that. And that's where these resources come in. 988, they know where to start, and they may also be with 911 in your area behind the background if they feel or hear something that is critical in this discussion that you're having with this person. So 988, give them a call as soon as you can, because that gives them a safety net when they need it, and it gives you a safety net also, to help you reach out to a person that is trained to deal with the situation. You again are not necessarily a superhero. You are a trusted person. You are a family member, a friend, a spiritual advisor, or a mental health professional. Maybe you are one of all of those things, and um, you're just the person that they trusted this information with. But if you're not trained to do so, you should definitely get some professional help in at the earliest convenience that you can. And 988 is a great start for that. So don't think that you're going to be able to talk them out of it on your own. You are not trained, unless you really are trained, unless you literally are a trained suicide prevention counselor. That's a totally different story. But if you are not, get 988 on the phone as soon as you possibly can, and just tell them, look, there's a lot of protections around mental health to not get police officers involved in arresting and these sort of a thing. There's a lot of people who are very untrusting of 911, very untrusting of what's going to happen if the police are brought into their home. Will they take their guns? Will they do this? Will they do that? Maybe that's why it's good to get them out of the situation if they're in their home. Get them completely out of there and say, let's go to a park where we can sit and talk. And 988 or a counselor can come. There's a lot of cities now that actually have um, suicide and mental health responding units. Their job is literally to come as a unit. And they always have their police officers on backup, but there's somebody that can talk to you and direct you to the correct mental health facility closest to you and give you those resources right there on the scene. So starting with 988, very important, but getting them out of the situation, like I said, may help also to make them feel more apt to get the help and talk to somebody else, because you're not bringing somebody that they don't trust into their home at that moment. Okay, so getting them to a crisis center if it's needed, getting them to talk to the crisis hotline, and then butting out of that situation, letting them do what they need to do, and just being there in support of your friend or your loved one, super, super important. Don't counteract what that suicide professional is saying unless it's something that's really off the wall. But they have their processes and things that they have to go through and the questions that they have to ask to get to that point. And just let the person talk to the 988. Don't answer for them. Let them say these things out loud, because sometimes admitting that you need the help and admitting it to somebody else that you are suicidal is part of the healing process and part of the process of getting to start that healing and to get the help that you need. So try and get them to talk to them as much as you can. If you can get them to talk to 988 directly or 911 or whatever they choose for you to call, because that's important. That important step. And then the last step is definitely a no-brainer, right? It's follow up. Follow up with that person. Staying in touch with a person after they've experienced a crisis or been discharged from care can make a difference. Study shows that supportive ongoing contact on so gosh, excuse me, supportive and ongoing contact can help prevent future issues with mental health illness, because they have somebody that they trust and know that they can talk to and rely on as a friend. And now that they've opened that door and had that discussion with you, you may be the only person in the world that they trust with that situation and that knowledge that they've been through what they've been through. So just check back and say, you know what, hey, I didn't need anything today. I'm just checking on you. How are you doing? You came to mind. I just wanted to let you know I'm thinking of you. Um, that's the easiest thing that you can do, is just send somebody a text and say, you know what, I'm just thinking of you. Are you okay today? Um, hey, I ran into a store today and I saw the prettiest sunflower, and I know you like sunflowers. It just made me realize I needed to say how hi and how are you doing. Like, you don't have to go in and say, are you suicidal today? Like, just ask a simple question. Are you okay? Is there something that I can do for you? Are you Do you need to talk? Just reminding you that I'm here. I haven't forgotten you. We get super, super busy in our lives. Um, I believe that you are given little nuggets during the day. That I saw a sunflower. It'd be more along the lines of, if I saw a holly hobby. Like, I now associate you with holly hobby, which is crazy because you're the farthest thing from holly hobby in the entire face of the earth. But because you gave me a holly hobby and you always like see holly hobby and you think of me, like now I see holly hobby and I think of you. Like, just this week I was in Colorado, and what did I do? I saw Holly Hobby and I sent you a picture of it to share it with you. And she's probably like, why is she showing me Holly Hobby? But I hope that you knew that was me reaching out and saying, hey, I love you and I appreciate you. Hi, Alpha. Welcome in. So it can be very simple. We do get very busy in our lives. We do get very caught up in our own thinking. But if you've had a friend who's opened their heart to you and told you, I'm not okay, and then they receive help and they get out, follow back up with them as soon as possible, because they still have an ongoing battle with this, probably the rest of their life. Do I want to say that you can go and get help at any given time and your entire world is going to be roses and unicorn farts? It's not. It is always going to be a struggle if you have issues with mental illness, anxiety, depression, all of these things. That's not to say that your life can't be great, but it is to say that you will always have to work on these issues, and your friends are always going to have to work on these issues. So just check in on them every now and then. And sometimes just hearing from you can make a big difference in the middle of their day. Um, and if you check on them and they say, "No, I'm not okay," say, "Can I talk to you?" Do you have 5 minutes to just talk? And if they say no at the moment, they say, "Well, ask them, is there somebody else you can talk to right now? Are you with anybody?" And if they say no, they're not, continue to persist that. Continue to pursue those people who are alone and telling you they're not okay. But if they're with somebody and they seem to be not okay, but with help, then you can say, I'm here when you need me. Call me later. I'm going to check back in. Do whatever you need to do. Okay? So that is all I have for you guys. That is directly information. Some of it obviously is. I do have a lot of friends who trust me with their thoughts. And I have also had a lot of friends who I have lost to suicide. Um, I don't usually say commit suicide because that sounds like you're committing a crime. But the completion of suicide is a very, very, um, aw, of course. I think of you a lot. I think of you guys in the middle of the night sometimes, and I choose not to text you at those moments. But I don't sleep very often. So I'm up all the time and I write notes and I say, okay, check on so and so tomorrow. And I literally tell Siri, hey, Siri, set an alarm for me to call so and so at 1 o'clock tomorrow. And I'll stop and drop a text or stop and drop a call. So whenever you've been given that idea in your mind that um, to check on somebody, please do it because you do not want the regret of, oh my gosh, I meant to call them. Oh my gosh, I meant to check in on them. You don't want to have to live with those things because let me tell you, they are painful. They are incredibly painful. The day that Ray passed away, um, he called me and we were in a hurry. We were going to see Batman Returns, I think it was. The one um, the very, very dark one. I don't even like Batman movies as much as I gave it weight in that moment. But we were driving to the theater, and he stopped in the middle of his conversation and he said, "You know, I love you, right?" And he had a girlfriend. We were split up. He had a girlfriend, and didn't want to I didn't want to say it back because I didn't want it to be any problem in the relationship. And and I said, "I know you dipshit." My last words to him were, "I know you dipshit." Of course, we called each other that, but my biggest regret is not telling him that I loved him back because I did, and I know that he knows that I loved him. But that will always be a regret in my mind to not say the things that I should have said when I should have said them. So, when you're given the ideation that somebody needs to be checked on, if you can't do it in that particular moment, set yourself an alarm and check back in. Check back in on that person at a reasonable hour. Welcome in, Brad. So, do definitely say those things that need to be said. It's okay to say you love somebody in any situation. It is always going to be okay to say it. It is always going to be okay to say, I want to be there for you. Um, I care about you. You're important to me. Say the weird things. Yes, say the weird things. I love you too. I love you too, Marcia, so very much. It's okay to say those things, no matter what the situation is. You can still define your boundaries without necessarily saying, I love you, and you can put those boundaries in place in other ways. But I love you should never be one of those things. If you really love somebody, you you should tell them and find other ways to put your boundaries in place. But I love you should never be a boundary that's unsaid. I do love my Caden. So is there anything that I can do for anybody tonight? And if you do have a prayer request, please feel free to inbox me, and I will be more than happy to pray with you or to pray for you or pray with you. Like I said in the past, I'm not ashamed of my Christian faith. I don't push it on anybody, but I will definitely be there if you need to be prayed for. I am here for you. And if there's anything, if you ever just need to talk and you're saying, "Hey, I have a moment. Do you have 5 minutes?" I'm gonna do my best to drop everything that I can to be there for you guys. We are a community, and we're a community for a reason. We're a community because we've met in this amazing and weird space of the whatnot realm, and we are brought to each other's spaces for a reason. Sometimes it's a reason, sometimes it's a season, and sometimes it's for the rest of your life. But if you don't reach out to the people who mean something to you, and you don't reach out to the people that you could mean something to, then we're missing a great opportunity to use this platform to help each other out. If you need an IV, that is Sexy Moose. If you need an Ivy is a friend that is brutally honest, but that will take to the streets for you. I mean, she will be literally taking her shoes off, her earrings off, balling up those fists before you have even had a chance to say, I can handle this. She's going to be in the middle of that. Everybody needs an Ivy. Everybody needs a sexy. Okay. Is there anything that I can do for you guys tonight? Is there any questions that I can answer for you, or is there any resources that I can help you with? I believe that wholeheartedly. I wholeheartedly believe that. You know, if you have a friend who literally will be honest with you, like they will tell you the harsh things that that you don't want to hear. I mean, there's a way of saying things, I know, but like seriously, if you're just sitting there and you're doing something that they know is going to be detrimental to your health and safety, and they are the ones that are going to fight you the hardest against it, that's a true friend. So if you have an addiction and you tell them that says, "Hey, um, I want to stop smoking in every way I possibly can," and that friend walks up and will smack the cigarette out of your mouth, those are the friends that you keep close, because those are the friends who really love you. They're going to tell you that honest truth that you need to know that says, hey, you said you didn't want to smoke. That stuff is toxic. Remember how you had a cough last week and it didn't go away and it's going to burn your throat and you smell like crap and your breath smells like you've licked an ashtray. They're going to be the ones that are going to be honest and smack that crap out of your face. Those are the friends that you want to keep close to, because they are the ones they love you enough to tell you the truth. They love you enough to give you the harsh reality of things, and they're very rare. They may not always be the funnest to be around because they're going to be truthful with you. And sometimes you don't want to hear that the cigarettes are bad for you because you just want to smoke that damn cigarette. But they're going to be the ones that are going to be in your corner. And even if you are not in your own corner, they're going to call you out on it and say, this is what you need to do. So get an Ivy in your life and keep them close. Mic drop. Let me drop my tiny microphone. Ready? Are we ready? Envy. We're gonna drop our tiny microphone. Mic drop. Oh, I dropped it too far. I don't want to break it. This is my tiny microphone, guys. Caden said it was an ice cream cone, but we've officially declared it a microphone. All right, guys, is there anything that I can do for you? If not, then we will call this a night and we'll find somebody to raid. Sexy, do we have anybody out there in the Sexy Moose world that we can drop a blessing of 8 people to? We could raid her. Yeah, I heard she's something else. She's kind of crazy. She's absolutely crazy. Guys, I do hope you'll join me for this coming week. I have I have some beautiful baddies. We've got custom orders that you can just come in and oogle at because they're already sold, but come in and look at them. They're very pretty. I'm very blessed that people are trusting me with memorial pieces, and that makes me really happy because if I can do anything to help somebody heal, I'm going to do that. So I have 2 memorial pieces that are finished this week that are beautiful, and I would love for you guys to share in that, and the people will be in the room, so I would love for you guys to come in and love on them and tell them, that you're sorry for their loss and that um that you could be there. Yes, I love height normal designs. No, but good try. Maybe I'll just do hers just to do her one. We could raid you. Envy. Wait, Envy doesn't sell anything. Envy's crying. Height normal designs, I absolutely love, guys. If you do not have a height normal designs piece, you are missing out on a very rare and beautiful thing. Thank you so much. Yes, it really does. Nat, thanks for being here. He sells cowboy hate. That he does. We do this every month. Yes. It's the last Sunday of the month, and it is an all-night train. It starts at 6 o'clock and it goes till whenever I get done yakking. So I'm the 11 o'clock spot, and we usually try and wrap it up around midnight. So hiya, kiddo. Okay. I was going to say, if you don't have a Height Normal Designs piece, you're missing out on something very rare and amazing. I'm always on raid trains, always. So she is an artist, but she also sells cards, but she also sells a really good time in her shows. Ask her to show you her beaver, please. Ask her to play with the banana, and ask her if she likes her Cool Whip creamy. Okay, please do all of that because she likes it. She likes to show everybody her beaver, okay? All right, guys, if you'll just go into the chat and, ask her to show you her beaver, we'd appreciate that. All right. Love you guys. Remember, take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself first, and then be a blessing to others. I love you too, my dear. Thank you guys for coming in tonight, all of my peeps, all of my brats. Height Normal Designs. Yes, I am. I've been on for an hour. You'll like Height Normal Designs. Go in and have fun.